Hey guys, this is your friend Shores Afridi, and this video is going to be for the XRP holders. I'm going to give you a full analysis, but we're going to start off with the cycles, and then we're going to talk about short-term technicals and where the price is likely headed next. We're also going to have to talk about Bitcoin because, it doesn't matter what altcoin you are holding, Bitcoin is going to be really important because if you don't know where Bitcoin is going, it's hard to know where any altcoin is going since everything pretty much follows Bitcoin. So to understand XRP and what's going to happen next, we need to know what's going to happen to Bitcoin. So let's look into the charts right now. So this is the XRP chart. As you guys can see, we had a major bull market here and then a bear market, sideways market. Now this is called a bear market rally. It's basically when the market goes up but then goes right back down. What happens here is, people were holding here and then they got hopeful, but then this thing went right back down. And this is called a bear market rally. And the purpose is to just, wash out any other investors, basically. The people that were hoping for new highs, they basically give up after this. Or some of them are really strong and they keep holding, but then as time goes by, they lose faith. And, it's funny because I know a lot of guys that were literally about to exit out of their position here, and they did, but they got back in because of of what I showed them, which was basically this. But if you look at the chart of XRP, if you look at the cycles and you compare it to Bitcoin, back in 2017, look, we had the same thing here, right? We had a bull market, bear market rally, and then after that, you guys can see we had a crazy bull market right over here, right? And if you look at XRP, it's identical. The only difference is the bull market just began. Now, a lot of people think that this is the end of the bull market. They're going to zoom in and then look at some patterns and think that just because it's a bearish pattern and maybe there's a bearish breakout, that the price can go all the way back down. Technically, anything is possible, but that's highly unlikely, and I'm about to tell you why. Now, if you zoom in on the daily time frame on XRP, you can see we have a shoulder, head, and shoulder, a head and shoulders pattern, which is bearish. So typically, when you have a head and shoulders pattern and the price breaks below the neckline, which is support, you're supposed to go a lot lower. And what everyone was talking about when it comes to this is that we're going to go a lot lower if we get a break below this support level. And they were saying that this is the target. Right? So if you connect a line from the head to the bottom, to the neckline basically, and you drag it to wherever you get the breakout, they were saying that it's going to go back down to 55 cents. Now, I'm not saying that's not possible, but it's very unlikely. Now, when it comes to these patterns and these breakouts, yes, it's a factor to why the price should go down or up, but it's a very minor factor, especially on the bigger time frames. I mean, let's think about this logically, right? You can see, we had this cycle, this bull market, bear market rally, and after years of waiting, when everyone's given up, now, the price is ready to go up. Do you think institutions are going to sell based off of a head and shoulders pattern? That's ridiculous, right? I mean, this is a good discount. Think about this. If this thing has a lot more upside, which it should, if you look at the cycles, right? I mean, just compare it to Bitcoin here. Right? I bet you also had some sort of pattern here too if we zoom in here more on the smaller time frames. But these patterns are created to distract you. So this head and shoulders pattern, right? If you look at the high to the lowest point, to the neckline, I mean, that's a 40% discount. Do you think institutions and whales are going to be more worried about a breakout, a break below support, and a bearish pattern? Or do you think they would be more worried about, hey, there's a discount on XRP, let me buy some, right? So what happens is, people focus on patterns when they're less important, especially on the bigger time frames. And then you get these breakouts. So you see how we broke below this neckline? Now, one of the reasons you got this breakout, and this happens all the time, this is nothing new. One of the reasons this happens is because the big traders, the whales, the institutional investors, they know that everyone sees a head and shoulders pattern, and that the moment the price goes below this, everyone is going to sell their XRP or short it, thinking that it's going to go a lot lower. So they actually manipulate the price. So what they do is they push the price down by selling a little bit or shorting. And then as soon as the price breaks below and everyone sells their XRP, they buy it from them, and then it ends up being a fake out. And what happens is the price of XRP goes a lot higher, right? So a lot of people on TikTok, they're not going to think about this deeply. They're not going to consider all the factors like the cycles, the trend. They're just going to focus on small things like patterns and breakouts. When you do that, it's the easiest way to get manipulated. Okay, it's not hard for institutions to be like, hey, they're all looking at this head and shoulders pattern and they're gonna sell if we make the price go below this line, even though it's a terrible time to sell. So let's make the price go below that line so that they sell it and we can buy their XRP for cheap, right? That happens all the time, and you guys don't want to fall for this. Now let's look at the facts, right? We literally just broke above this line over here, and we started going up immediately, right? Now, when you look at Bitcoin, did Bitcoin stop the bull market at its previous all-time highs? No, it went a lot higher. So why would you expect XRP to do anything different? Why not expect this to go a lot higher too, right? On top of that, when something goes up, right, and it consolidates sideways or even upwards, which isn't the best, downwards is the best, but even when something goes up and then consolidates sideways, what it's doing is it's resting, right? Think of this as like XRP wants to go to the moon, right? It just like, it's halfway there now, or it ran 1/3, it's there 1/3 of its journey, and now it needs to take a break and just kind of refuel. And then it's going to go up again, same thing, refuel. And that's what you see Bitcoin doing right now as well. So if we open the chart of Bitcoin at the present moment, I mean, you can see it did the same thing here. Big move up. I remember back over here, people were zooming in and looking at some head and shoulders pattern and not paying attention to the bigger picture, right? And that's the same thing happening again. And I warned everyone last time, and look what happened, right? And I'm warning everyone again on Bitcoin and XRP that instead of paying attention to the small patterns, look at the bigger picture. We went up and we're consolidating, meaning we're getting ready for a big move up. If you see any pattern, guess what? Other people see that pattern just like you. And if the price breaks below that pattern, then other people are going to see that and sell based off of that, which is the perfect opportunity for rich people to buy it up from you and then finally push the price up when you've sold everything, and it won't matter for you because you missed out on the bull market, right? So that's my analysis for XRP. Hope you guys liked it. If you guys want to learn institutional trading factors so that you don't get manipulated and cheated out of your, investments, if you actually want to know what's going on, I have a free trading course. If you want, just follow me and DM me privately free, and I'll send it to you. It's all on YouTube. I'll send it to you for free.